Hi and welcome back to my channel. So we are going to continue part 2 of the land registration general regulations, and we had reached at regulation 21, okay, which talks about registration requirements and the documents that are supposed to accompany applications for registration under the Land Registration Act. And it's we say that the default there's a default form from LRA 9 which is used where there is no form that's been prescribed by these regulations, and we looked at that form. It wasn't anything really special, all right, just just ordinary uh, form with all the sections and the place you can put the particulars and the type of or the item, what do you, it's not the item, the type of interest you want to register. Now, moving on to regulation 22, we see that there are documents in support of applications, and these documents must accompany every application for registration, and they are all original title documents or other documents relating to the land or the interest. So that is regulation 22. Regulation 22 says that accompanying documents are the following: original documents of title. We also have the map, the plan, okay, the plan that's been approved by the land survey, office of the land survey. We also have any other documents as the registrar may require, okay, to identify the interest in land, a list in duplicate specified in form LRA 9 set out in the seal of all the documents lodged with the registrar. So there is also a list that is to be in duplicate. This list, have we looked at it when I discussed Form LRA? Let me just look. You know, there are so many forms. I don't want us to waste time. I'm gonna look like so quickly. I hope I'll be able to do it. I hope I'll be able to do that. Yeah, so the list of documents that are referred to, I don't see any list of documents. Okay, I don't see, unfortunately. So I don't know what they're referring to here. All right. Okay, so moving on quickly, except as otherwise provided by the Act, all instruments present for it shall be in two counterparts, and each count shall be deemed an original, provided that for purposes of registration, one counterpart shall be marked as original and the other as counterpart. So you like present your documents in duplicate, that is in 2 copies of each for registration. Okay, one will be deemed the original and the other a copy. Okay, and then upon registration, the registrar shall retain one counterpart and retain the counterpart marked original. So registrar retains the counterpart, and the original goes with you. Okay. So then we move on. When considering for registration, the registrar may make searches. So obviously the registrar does these things. They are like just due diligence on his part. So due diligence so the registrar will do the following. He will just conduct searches. He will make inquiries. He will give notices. Okay. He will advertise the application in case anybody is interested or holds interest or has objections. A registered proprietor may apply to the registrar to be included as a spouse. So if you have a spouse, you can apply that your spouse be included in the register. Now, the application is Form LRA 10 of being included. Let's just look at it. LRA 10. So LRA 10 is saying this. Okay. LRA 10, it says title number, of course the title, and I say the title is Republic of Kenya Land Registration Act, the Land Registration General Regulations, application to be noted in the register as a spouse, title number, date of application, registered proprietor, name of applicant, address for service of applicant, email of applicant, telephone number of applicant. Number one, the applicant as a spouse of the registered proprietor hereby applies to be noted in the register as a spouse. Number two, in support of this application, the applicant has attached a statutory declaration and supporting documents. So you can see clearly here, everything is just simple, straight to the point. So a statutory declaration and supporting documents. So where you want to declare that you are the spouse, you make a statutory declaration. Then there's a note here dated this day of this. Okay. The supporting documents, of course, would be like the marriage certificate, all right, that is prima facie evidence of the marriage. Also, note if you dishonestly enter information or make a statement that you know is or might be untrue or misleading, and intend by doing so to make a gain for yourself or another person, or to cause loss or the risk of loss to another person, you may commit the offense of fraud. So any dishonest information you enter will be considered fraud. Execution signed by the applicant in the presence of, they didn't say exactly, but I would say in the presence of maybe an advocate. So there's a colored photograph here on the right side, ID number, PIN number, and signature of the spouse or the person who is witnessing, I don't know. So the person who certifies is the land registrar, name and signature. I certify that the above name so-and-so appeared before me on the dash and being known to me, but being identified by, acknowledge the above same marks to be his, hers. Freedom of executed this instrument and understood its content. Signature and designation of person certifying. The person who is certifying, should be the advocate, okay? I think the advocate is the one who is doing this business of, if I'm not wrong. All right, so now the form is straightforward with two very important statements: that the person who is named as the applicant herein is a spouse and wishes is a spouse of the registered proprietor and hereby applies to be noted. So it's like kind of like an affidavit somehow, but it's really not an affidavit. The two statements sound like an affidavit. The applicant, as a spouse of the registered proprietor, hereby applies to be noted in the register as a spouse. In support of this application, the applicant has attached a statutory declaration and supporting document. So, and that's it. The statutory declaration looks like this. It's under the Statutory and General Applications Act. I, Zainab Gadamfar, in support of this application, do hereby sincerely declare as follows. Number one, that I am the spouse of the so-and-so, the registered proprietor by virtue of the following. I was married to, the proprietor on this day, maybe in this church. Then you say, Number two, I attach the following supporting documents: a duly certified copy of a marriage certificate. As I told you, the supporting documents, it would be, for this case, a marriage certificate dated under this days. B, C, a copy of the search report in respect of the property. I make this declaration consciously, believing the same to be true and according to the Oaths and Statutory Declarations Act. Okay, declared before me at this day on the day of this 2022, signature of Commissioner for Oaths or Magistrates or Notary Public. Okay, drawn by. Then you say drawn by whoever, if it's a law firm. Okay, so you can see here the statutory declaration is very simple. I, so and so, in support of this application, do hereby sincerely declare. You just sincerely declare. Like in an affidavit, you say, I, so and so, of PO Box this and this, an adult of sound mind. Okay, I, so and, why am I confusing? I, so and so, of PO Box this, do hereby swear and make oath as follows. Okay, that number one, that I am others of sound mind and hereby competent to swear this affidavit. So it's like almost the same, except that here you sincerely declare, okay, that you are the spouse of the registered proprietor by virtue of the following. Then you attach the following supporting documents: the duly certified copy of marriage certificate, a copy of the search report, and in respect of the property. So you will conduct the land search if it's a piece of land. Yeah, you conduct a land search, I think, and then you attach. Declared before me the Commission of Oaths, just like in an affidavit you declare before the Commission of Oaths, and that's it basically. There's nothing like extraordinary. It's just the same thing, twisted with a different name to make it harder, but it's not supposed to be hard. Now, so moving on, we have, what do you call this? The spouse that was under Regulation 23. The registrar shall, within 14 days of receipt of the application made under for the spouse inclusion in the register, issue a 30 days notice of intention to note a spouse in the register to a registered proprietor in Form LMA 11 set out in the 6th schedule. Now, these forms are following each other. If you can get the hierarchy, like the chronology from this to this to this, it would be easy to remember in an exam. So you can see that the registered proprietor in Form LRA. So like we said, when the registrar is doing conducting due diligence, okay, for registration purposes. They will issue notices, they will make searches, make inquiries, advertise application. So we can see when it comes to spousal inclusion in the land register, the due diligence is to give notice to who the spouse that your wife or your husband has applied for this, okay, to be included. The registrar shall, in the absence of any objection, if you don't object within the 30 days, he will proceed and include the applicant in the register as a spouse. The registrar shall refuse to include the applicant under paragraph 2 as a spouse if the husband or wife objects. The registrar will give reasons for the decision made. Okay, the entry of the name of a spouse will not confer ownership status to the spouse. So the the inclusion will not confer ownership status, but I'm sure there's some kind of recognition here. If your name is indicated as a spouse, you would need spousal consent, I think, to dispose of the property. But really, I don't think so. If there's no ownership status, that person holds no interest. So why would anyone want to be included as a spouse if it doesn't bring any benefits? Okay, I really don't understand some of this, the logic behind some of these things. Okay, now the registrar shall give reasons for the decision made in accordance with this. We said that now, Regulation 24, the first registration pursuant to an adjudication process under the Land Adjudication Act shall be based on the adjudication register, and the registrar shall note in the land register such restrictions or conditions as may be applicable. Okay, adjudication. We are having some terms: the adjudication, the consolidation. There's a Land Consolidation Act. And the Land Adjudication Act. Hey. Act, and Land Adjudication Act. Okay, so Regulation 26, the first proprietor noted in the register of any parcel or interest in land pursuant to an allocation process shall be the registered proprietor, and the registrar shall note in the land register such restrictions or conditions. Okay, so we also have the term allocation, we have consolidation, adjudication, allocation. A person, Regulation 27, a person's instrument is lost, destroyed, or misplaced shall apply for a replacement in the form NRA 12. Now we see very, very clearly we see here very, very clearly, very, very, very clearly. We see very clearly that if you lose or misplace your, what do you call, your title, if you lose it, what happens? You just apply for replacement. There's no need to panic. You know how much I panic when I am holding on to what do you call, my certificate, not of title. One day I will, but my KCSE or my degree certificate, and I'm scared that I will lose them. I'm not aware if we can apply for new ones, but you can imagine how you would feel, if you lost such important documents. And of course, a title to your property is also is as important as your degree certificate, yeah, if not more. Mm. So the form that you use is form LRA 12. Let's look at this form, and then you will support it with evidence. Yeah, support with evidence. I don't know, is it an affidavit? Let me just look under section 33 of the Act. The section 33 of the Act is the Land Registration Act. The Land Registration, I can't find it. Where is it? It was just here. Come on. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, here I found it. So under section, they said section 33. So 33 says lost or destroyed certificates or and registers. Where a certificate of title or certificate of lease is lost or destroyed, the proprietor may apply to the registrar for the issue of a replacement certificate of title or of lease, and shall produce evidence to satisfy the registrar of the loss or destruction. The registrar shall require statutory declaration to be made by all the registered proprietors. And in the case of a company, the director, where property has been charged, the chargee, that the certificate of lease has been lost or destroyed. So it's not a simple process. Section of the Land Registration Act. It's not a simple process. Alright, just like I assumed, it's not simple. You need a statutory declaration, that the one which we looked at just a few minutes ago, a statutory declaration with the statement that you are the registered proprietor for the person number this and this, and number two, that you have lost, okay, it got destroyed in a fire or lost. And number three, you would say I attach the document as evidence, okay, in support of this application. You would say the, what do you call, you would say, you would say, okay, what application that is, okay, what application. I mean, sorry, my mind is somewhere else. So you would you would say the evidence, if maybe you have someone, maybe since if it's lost, you want to, for example, if you suspect that it was stolen, you would go to the police maybe and apply and and just report. Maybe they'll give you an abstract. You understand, something like that. Like when you lose your ID or when someone steals your phone. I think that would be the evidence. I can't think of any others for now. Maybe if it's a fire, you took pictures of your house burning. God forbid. Anyway, I really don't know. So it's not a simple process under Section 33 of the Land Registration Act. They register after signing, what do you call, after declaring, after you make the certificate declaration and you attach the evidence, okay, the registrar, if is satisfied with the evidence proving the destruction or loss, will publish a notice in the Gazette and in any two local newspapers nationwide circulation. He will issue a replacement after 60 days after publishing in the Gazette. If a loss certificate is found, it will be delivered to the registrar for cancellation. If it is found, the registrar shall have powers to reconstruct any lost or destroyed land register after making such inquiries as may be necessary and after giving due notice of 60 days. Upon the issue of a replacement certificate, no further dealing shall be carried out using the old one, okay? And yeah, so the old becomes ineffective and there's a whole process of notice in the Gazette. Yeah, I think they need to they always need to let people know, okay, for some reason. Then issues 60 days, issues new one. If it's the land register that is destroyed, or they can reconstruct after making inquiries. So the land registrar is so powerful. They have all these functions, all these powers. Right? Now we move back to our business of the day, which is the Land Registration General Regulations, our baby, that we are going to understand very thoroughly and quickly before this night ends, God willing. So you can see that under section 33, where the the certificate is lost, you use form LRA 12. You accompany it with the statutory declaration that you would indicate you have supporting documents. So let's just look at the land registration, the form LRA 12. Form LRA 12. I could get used to this. Okay, so the Republic of Kenya Land Registration Act, Land Registration General Regulations, application for replacement, certificate of title or release on loss, destruction of a previous title. So, Form LRA 12 is for replacement of lost title, or what do you call it? The lost title or lost lease. Okay, on destruction. Now, title number, date of application, applicant. The applicant has a star. I think it means you provide the particulars of the applicant, the name, the ID, all that, address. Oh, excuse me. Then it follows, number one, the proprietor hereby applies for the issue of the above certificate of title or lease on the following grounds. The certificate of title lease has been lost, that is A, or the certificate of title or lease has been destroyed, that is B. Number two, in support of this application, the proprietor undertakes to deliver to the registrar the old certificate of title or lease if found for cancellation. Okay, because remember in section 33 of the Land Registration Act, we say that if you find the lost one, the lost title, maybe because you misplaced it, then you found it, you would be required to take it back to the registrar for cancellation. So here you are like saying that you undertake, you undertake to deliver that lost title if ever you find it. Okay, then you attaches a statutory declaration. So number one, undertakes to deliver the lost title if found. Number two, attaches a statutory declaration because it's a requirement. Number three, attaches the following supporting documents. You understand? So it's quite what do you call it? It's quite detailed, like nothing is being left out here, as it follows section 33 to the letter. Attachment of supporting documents include, like I told you, like my mind told me, police abstract. Because if you lose your national ID, you run the same day if you can to the nearest police station and you are issued your abstract, and there's an OB number there. If anything, if someone steals from you in town as you walk by with your new phone, and then somebody calls and you forget you are in town, and you pick that call, and someone from 100 yards away spots you because they were looking at you all this time, and they steal your phone just like that, and you'll be lucky if they leave your hand with you intact. Now, after that, you run to the police station. After running to the Airtel or Safaricom agent to tell them of the matter, maybe block the line, cancel it, renew it, something. You go to the police, you write your complaint, you get your OB number, you get your abstract. And that is the same here. If you lost your ID, you would also need a police abstract. So it's the same with your title document. The supporting documents would be your police abstract, certified copies of national identity card, passport of the registered proprietor. Okay. So you would have certified copies of national ID, certified copies of certificates of registration, incorporation if you are a company, Copies of national identity card, passport of the directors if you are a company, because you are giving a statutory declaration. Sorry, a statutory declaration is by a director. Is made by a director where it is a company, okay, because that is a senior official of the company. They also sign affidavit, they swear affidavits on behalf of the company. So this is their forte per se. This is their forte. So certified copies of the national ID, passport, partners, officials who have sworn the statutory declaration, all right, in the case of a registered company. So color passport size photos of the individual registered proprietor or person making the declaration. This also clears the cobweb I had about the colored photographs in the other forms, like the donee, donor, because they are swearing before an advocate, okay, in witness of the advocate. It's not the advocate who puts the colored photograph, because the advocate would have the, what do you call, would have their stamp. So as their what do you call, their verification, the stamp, the advocate stamp. This one, the colored photographs in these forms now are a bit clear. They are of those individuals who are swearing in witness, sorry, who are swearing before the advocate, who are making this statutory declaration. So we'll have color passport size photos of the individual registered or the people making the declaration in case of a company. The case of a registered entity, certified extract of the resolution. Now I have had this almost everywhere, in everything related with civil matters, civil procedure, representation by the director in case of matters of related to companies, transacting, disposing property, buying or selling. There is always a requirement to have a certified extract of the resolution that has passed that motion to sell, to buy, to represent, to take the case to the court, to sue. There is always an extra, because remember, a company has a constitution. A constitution, it's what do you call, articles of association, memorandum of association. Those things, they run the company, and nothing ever happens unless the board of directors has passed a resolution, okay, allowing for such action, okay, to take place. So here also it would have been discussed in a meeting by the board of directors that we have lost the title, we lost it in a fire, it got burned, destroyed, or we misplaced it, we can't see it. So we passed the resolution that way forward is so and so, apply for replacement. That's it. You apply for replacement. Once you apply for replacement, who gave the permission? The resolution, which will be written and certified. That is the company's mouth. It talks and decides via resolutions. They'll pass the resolution to allow for application for replacement, and that is what is a supporting document in case of a registered entity. An official search from the registration office where the entity is registered. Now, I see why we would need a search. We also need a search. Remember, we need a search when we are also a spouse seeking to have our name included on the land register. Why a search? Because if we conduct the search, the name of that person would come, the proprietor, the proprietorship section, and the three sections we talked about, and the the property section, proprietorship section, and the encumbrance section. And the name under the property proprietor, the name will be very clearly indicated, the RED, the address of for service of the notices in case of any. So you will see here that it is important to have the official search of that property, okay, whose title has been destroyed or lost. Oh, yeah, yes. I don't know why I doubt myself sometimes. Okay, and any other document that will evidence ownership, because remember, an official search is prima facie evidence. Really, we call it that. An official search is evidence. It is it's formal, it's official, okay, and it can be used. I don't know how to put it. It's evidence of ownership. When an advocate is doing due diligence, you would want them to see the name of the vendor reflected on that title. If you are the advocate for the purchaser and you're conducting an official search, the thing you're doing is you want to know the name of the vendor is clearly reflected on that search. All right, and if you want a further research into the history of the owners, you would conduct a historical search to obtain a green card, which will show the previous owners going back generations, okay, before the person. I don't know how many centuries. Maybe it goes all the way, maybe to independence. I don't know. I've never seen one, so I can't suppose I know, right? And another search that will be required for a registered entity would be the official search, official company search, where it's a company, you want to have some due diligence there, some supporting document to show you are registered, with the register of companies, something like that. So you can see nothing here is being left haphazard. Everything is great, everything is good, everything is following section 33 of the Land Registration Act. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then you sign. There's execution. I think it's for signing. In witness, therefore, in witness whereof this application of a loss of destroyed certificate of title has been duly executed by the proprietor. So you would say it's been duly executed, signed by the proprietor in the presence of. So it is signed by the proprietor in the presence of the advocate, okay. There's a colored photograph of the person who is making that declaration. Who is making the declaration or this replacement. The proprietor's photograph, ID number, PIN number, signature. Then there's an official, for official use only, the certificate of verification that I certify that the above named so. No, sorry, this is for the advocate who is certifying this. Some of these things are so not explained. So land registrar name, signature, registrar stamp, number, and that's it. So that is form 11H1. That is for application for replacement. Let's move on. Now, moving on to everything has like a statutory declaration. Yeah, it's so in conveyance they don't use affidavits like in civil procedure. They to support their document they use what we call the statutory declaration under the statutory what was the act again? Statutory Declaration Act, if I got it right, or the Oaths and Statutory Declarations Act. So now, when the registrar receives the application with the supporting document and statutory declaration, he will give a notice in the Gazette. Now we also have Form LRA 13. Notify the public of the loss, destruction, or misplacement. I don't know what is the purpose of notifying the whole world of somebody else's private business. Like this property is personal to the company or to the person. Why would they need to like publish in the Gazette? Notice people but may not even read, you know. How many notices have they published so far for the replacement from 1963? Okay, it's not let's say from 2012 up until right now, 2012. Those are so many notices, unbelievable. Now, Form LRA 13, let's just look at it. This is going so slow. I wish it would go faster because we have like 196 pages. These regulations are almost 200 pages. So, mostly forms, and I would like to pass through them all before I call it a night. But I don't know. We shall see how this works. If it's possible. That is Form LRA 13. Form LRA 13, where are you? I'm here. Okay, so Form LRA 13. Excuse me. Form LRA 13, Republic of Kenya, Land Registration Act, Land Registration General Regulations, Notice for issue of a replacement title, whereas dash and dash of post office box number dash is is the registered proprietor of all that property known as, you write, situate in Lamu County by virtue of a certificate of title or release, and whereas sufficient evidence has been adduced to show that the said certificate of title or release has been lost. Notice is hereby given that after the expiry of 60 days from the date hereof, I shall issue a replacement title, provided that no objection has been received within that dated 12th day of April 2022 land registry. So that is the notice. Just informing whereas this person, proprietor of all that property is this, situated in this place, this county, uh, and whereas sufficient evidence has been given to show that it was lost, notice is hereby given. So they have like 60 days to issue a new replacement title, a new title. So that is the Form LRA 13. Now, so where the land register is lost or destroyed, the registrar can reconstruct. Now, the land registrar is held in a specific registry, the land registry in that area or locality. So of course it won't be the person, the proprietor who destroys it, because he's not the custodian of the land register. But if the registry were to, mistakenly lose the register or have it destroyed in any way, I believe the registrar can reconstruct it on application by the proprietor. Maybe if they have been given a notice that the register has been lost. Because I don't believe the proprietor is the custodian of the register. The land register is held, we said, in the registry, in the locality of that. In every locality, they have these registries, land registries. Now, there is also an electronic form and a physical form that is kept. And I said earlier that maybe it's for backup, but in case they lose both, the registrar can reconstruct. But we see the application here under Form NRA 14. It's the proprietor who makes the application for reconstruction. Okay. But I don't understand. Many of these scenarios are not easy to understand because they don't explain them in these regulations. They assume we know, and this is very technical because if you've not worked in the land registry, or if you've not worked and done these applications on the ground, there's no way you can know this. How somebody applies, who applies, they'll try and tell you here. But now the applicant is applying for the destruction of a land register, which is in the custody of. How is this? Then they attach the statutory declaration. Like, what evidence do you have? Okay, you are not the one who. Okay, unless I don't know now how this works. Anyway, it's just confusing. But we will just try and understand as much as we can. Let me just Oh, now I get it. So it's just like I said, where that is regulation 28 on the loss or destruction of the land register. A person claiming to be a registered proprietor may apply. So if the registrar loses, if a registry loses the land register, maybe it got destroyed, and here you are claiming to be the proprietor of a property whose land register has been lost or destroyed, the onus is on you to prove with supporting documents, and you make an application to the registrar so he may construct, because we saw under section 33 of Land Registration Act that the registrar can reconstruct destroyed or lost land registers. So if you claim to be a proprietor of a parcel of land whose land register or whose details on the register have been misplaced, lost, destroyed, you would apply to the registrar for reconstruction. So reconstruction is not automatic. You have to apply, because it's like you are helping the registrar. Maybe, how would you know, Maybe the registrar will post a notice in the Gazette notifying that certain land registers belonging to, these areas or these localities or these persons have been lost. Okay, I don't know how they would notify people so that you would be aware that something is going on, like you need to apply. Okay, so when you apply for reconstruction, you use the form LRA 14, which we just looked at, to have the registrar construct. And of course, if you are claiming to be the proprietor of the parcel of land whose land register has disappeared or been lost, you would need to prove that indeed you are. Perhaps you have the title. Just look at the supporting document that they have used, and in the form LRA 14. Form LRA 14. So Republic of Kenya Land Registration Act, Land Registration General Regulations, application for reconstruction of a land register, that is form LRA 14. Okay, you would say this, then you would say date of application, applicants, detail, registration details, passport ID, what. If a company, registration number, address in Kenya, email address, telephone. The registered proprietor of the above noted property is, you will say name, address, ID number, okay? The applicant being the registered proprietor of the above noted property, the person entitled to make this application, pass 1 to 2. This one, I don't know what they provide details of the reason of the applicant to make this application. Maybe if it's your agent, your advocate who's making, I don't know. So you choose whether you are making it by yourself or someone else. Hereby applies for the reconstruction of the land register Okay. Number 3, in support of this application, the applicant attaches a statutory declaration, deed of indemnity, what is this now? Deed of indemnity. Let me just, excuse me, let me just look at it. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning. Maybe there's less oxygen here in this room. Deed of indemnity. Just look at it. Deed of indemnity. What does it mean? A deed of indemnity is a type of agreement between multiple parties that specify the consequences of a specific event, usually based on protecting one or more of the parties from being held responsible. Oh, deed of indemnity, land, as a land title. I don't understand it. I don't know what this is. So, the following supporting documents: certified copies of national identity card, passport, certified copies of certificates of registration, incorporation, as well as copies of national ID. So, certified copies of certificates of registration or incorporation if it's a company, and the director's identity cards, okay, who have shown the statutory declaration. Color passport size photos of an individual registered proprietor, so you would have color passport size photos of the proprietor. In the case of a registered entity, certified extract of the resolution of the entity. Just like we say, an official search from the registration office where the entity is registered, an official search in respect of the property or any other document evidencing ownership of the property. So my question is, would you have a search, an official search, if the land register is lost? Like when you are searching, the land register comes up, the details of your property, proprietorship, and the income section. So if it's lost, how would you make an official search and have it come up? Those are the questions. And then you say in witness whereof this application of a loss has been duly executed by the proprietor, signed by the proprietor in the presence of an advocate, color photograph, ID, PIN number, signature. I certify that the above named have been okay. And then you will have your statutory declaration, which will have I, so and so, and suppose to hereby sincerely declare as follows that okay, declare as follows that I am the proprietor in the registered property or title that I lost. Wait, what am I saying? That sorry, that I'm applying for reconstruction of the land register after it's been lost or destroyed. I make this declaration conscientiously, believing the same to be true and according to the Oaths and Civil Declarations Act declared before me at this day of this, signature of Commissioner for Oaths or the Magistrate of Notary Public. Okay, so that is that. Mm. Oh, so we have like Form LRA 15, which is showing us you remember when we said that where it's a company that has lost or misplaced their title, if they're applying for a new one for a replacement, the directors of the company would make the statutory declaration. So it will read like this: Republic of Kenya, the Land Registration Act, Land Registration Regulations. In the matter of an application for replacement of certificate of title or lease, the Land Registration Act, title number, statutory declaration by a body corporate. Now the director is making the declaration. Hemedi Mbuzi of national identity card number or passport number, this and this, and of postal address code and town and country, solemnly and sincerely declare as follows. Number one, that I am a director. So the whole thing is like an affidavit, except it's called a declaration. That I am a director of, provide name, address, and additional number of the corporate, the company, and duly authorized to swear this affidavit on behalf of the company. That the company is the registered proprietor of all the piece of land known as title number this, together with the improvements erected and being their own property, attached herewith and marked that is an official search of the register, or attached herewith and marked, let's say MK1 is an official search or OS one. I don't know how they come up with these symbols. Is an official search of the register relating to the property issued within 30 days of this declaration. Now that the title to the property is comprised in a certificate of title, that the original that the original certificate of title relating to the property has been lost. So you would say if it's been lost or misplaced, and despite all effort to search for it among the company's records and documents, I have failed to trace or find the said certificate of title or lease, and I verily believe that the same has been lost and cannot be found. A police abstract reporting the loss of the said certificate of title is attached and marked MK2. Then we have like an alternative way of saying that the original certificate title of the property has been destroyed by fire. A police abstract reporting the destruction of the certificate of lease is attached and marked MK2. Then number 5, that I hereby confirm that the said certificate of title lease has not been deposited by way of pledge or given as security for a loan to any person, firm, company, bank, or any financial institution other than as stated in the official search. Number 6, that I shall return the certificate of title to the land register whenever the same is found, that I make this declaration in support of an application made under the Land Registration Act 2012 um, to the land register seeking a replacement certificate of title or lease in lieu of the aforesaid or lost, destroyed document, and make this declaration conscientiously, believing the same to be true and according to the odds. And yeah, so you, like in an affidavit, you say that whatever is deposited herein is true to the best of my belief and knowledge, save as here in status in what? Here in the statutory declaration, uh, you would say you make the declaration in support of an application. The application we said was Form LRA 12. Okay, and seeking a replacement. Okay, and make this declaration conscientiously, believing the same to be true and according to So you believe the same to be true. It's the same. Declared by the said at this day of this in the presence of, you will write the commissioner for oaths. Okay. And yeah, that is how it looks like. So that is form LRA 15, sorry. LRA 14 we said was the application for the construction of a registrar, of a land register. When you are claiming to be a proprietor, when you are claiming to be the registrar, because remember, when the registrar is reconstructing, they will make inquiries. They want to know, okay? They will need evidence to know and prove that you are indeed a registered proprietor, so that when they are reconstructing, they have the details, your details reflected with the property. All right, so that is what happens. I would say clearly. Um, that as there's no complexity in the matter. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I'm just yawning all over the place and twisting my hair. Let's just finish this, please, and understand. Okay, so we looked at Form LRA 15 was the example or sample of the statutory declaration by company, which contains some kind of words, which obviously will be different from if it's a natural person, okay, who is making the declaration. So Form LRA 15 is the statutory declaration sample by a director of a company who is seeking for replacement. Who is seeking replacement, okay? Replacement of title. Statutory declaration for a natural person is Form LRA 16. Okay. Now, Form LRA 16, Republic of Kenya Land Registration, the Land Registration General Regulations in the matter of. So these statutory declarations, they start like in the matter of. In the matter of an application for replacement of certificate of title or release the land registration. The Land Registration Act, that is the title. Then you start I of PO Box number this Nairobi in the Republic of Kenya. Take oath and swear. Okay. Okay, that is interesting because that is the affidavit style. Here, that I of national identity card number this and this solemnly and sincerely declare. It's a statutory declaration that's the normal like words that come, but here I am confused. So it's like an affidavit now. I dash of PO Box this Nairobi, you're going to take oath and swear. Yes. This is the kind of okay, so this one is taking the form of an affidavit. You swear that the original certificate has been lost. That that I hereby confirm this certificate has not been deposited by a way of by as security for a loan to any financial institution, that I shall return the certificate in form, that I make this declaration in support of an application made under the Land Registration Act to the registrar seeking a replacement. That was under Section 33. Okay, sworn, and this commissioner before me, commissioner of odds for us. Then you have a deed of indemnity. The one that I told you was one of the supporting documents, apart from the statutory declaration, is a deed of indemnity where if the applicant is the registered proprietor, okay, the indemnity is to indemnify the government, okay. So the deed of indemnity is Form LRA 17. This deed of indemnity is made the second day of April 2022 by a limited liability company incorporated in the Republic of Kenya, whose address is care of Post Office Box number this, Nairobi in the said Republic. Okay. whereas the owner is registered as proprietor as owner from the government of the Republic of Kenya on that piece of land situated here. Uh, the advocates for the owner have applied for a search over the property and have been informed by the officers that the deed file relating to the property cannot be traced at the land titles registry, and that to carry out a search, the said deed file is required to be reconstructed, for which purpose the owner has been requested to issue this deed of indemnity. So remember when I told you that the how would you attach supporting documents of official search when the land register is destroyed? If you conduct the search, you wouldn't get the results. It wouldn't reflect. So I was right. This deed of indemnity explains that the owners have applied, the advocates have applied for search, but the deed file couldn't be located or traced. And to carry the search, the said deed file is able to be reconstructed, for which purpose the owner has been requested to issue this deed of indemnity. So it's like you are it's like you are asking for a reconstruction after you've conducted a search and you found that you couldn't get it, the official search, because the land register has been destroyed. So it's like you are giving a supporting document in future, because the search is gonna be given within 30 days after making of the statutory declaration, meaning it's not yet given, which really which is strange for me personally. I wouldn't understand this unless someone has done it on the ground and they're able to like explain this. So the deed of indemnity clearly states that the government is indemnified in their process of reconstruction from any liability. The owner has no cause and is in no way involved with the disappearance of the original deed file. The owner is desirous of reconstructing the deed file. This deed of indemnity is supplemental to the affidavit annexed hereto sworn by the owner. So, okay. Now this deed witnesses that the owner shall indemnify and hold harmless the government of the Republic of Kenya, its officers and agents, from and against all actions, proceedings, claims, demands, costs, expenses, and losses whatsoever arising from the reconstruction of the deed file. So it's like you are indemnifying the government for being reckless, for losing or destroying or misplacing the deed file, the particulars in the land register. Okay, provided that the losses arise out of a fraud or illegality on the part of the owner, and provided further that the indemnity contained herein shall determine on the date on which the owner ceases to be the registered proprietor, in witness whereof the owner has hereunto caused its common seal to be affixed the day and year first herein before written. Jeez, the language is just sealed with the common seal of the owner in the presence of. So this is, then we have the director, secretary. So this is for the company, they gave an example. And then formula A18 is for notice for reconstruction of loss, the one we had looked at, or destroyed land register. Or the one we looked at was for destroyed title. Whereas dash dash of post office box number dash is the registered proprietor of all that property known as Dash, situated in Dash County, and whereas the land register inspect is destroyed and efforts made to locate the said have failed, notice is given that after the expiry of 60 days from the date hereof, the land register shall be reconstructed provided that no objection has been received within that period. So it's like the land register, sorry, excuse me, is gonna be reconstructed, okay? It's gonna be reconstructed. It's going to be reconstructed, and this notice is given in the Kenya Gazette and two national wide circulation newspapers. Wow, I mean, so every step has statutory declaration, has, I don't know, there are just so many forms, many forms, many forms. Okay, we move back to where we came from. So once you have applied for a construction of the land register which is destroyed, you will attach the necessary statutory documents, statutory declaration plus this indemnity, deed of indemnity, indemnifying the government for any proceedings, during that reconstruction time. You will also uh, prompt, of course, after you have given your application and supporting document and declaration, the land register will issue a notice on the Kenya Gazette and two newspapers uh, of reconstruction of the land register. The land register, the destroyed or closed land register, and then after the expiry of the notice, okay, the registrar shall obtain clarification on the parcel status from the office or authority responsible for survey, for land administration, and the office of the registrar. Okay, any other office of the registrar that the registrar may deem necessary. Upon clarification and no objection has been raised, okay, against the application, the registrar may reconstruct the land register. So we see other players coming in, such as the Office of Land Survey Office, Land Administration, and any other office. And this is paramount because, of course, the registrar needs to know the status from these people, okay, like further confirmation. And upon clarification, he can continue to reconstruct. Where the title lost or destroyed, a person claiming to be the proprietor. Okay, so where the title documents are missing. Okay, the form 14 is reconstruction for land register. Okay. Yeah, we said it's form LRA 14, where the applicant is a body corporate, the application shall be made by form LRA 15, where the applicant is a natural person, statutory declaration is form LRA 16, which takes the form of an affidavit. Upon receipt of an application, the notice will be posted is the one we just said. So this is just repetition. Of course, it's repetition. A person who has regulation 30 has any a person has an interest in land for which a certificate of lease or a certificate of title is to be issued may apply to the registrar for the certificate in form LRA 19, application for a certificate. So if you hold an interest in land, you apply for a lease, certificate of lease or certificate of title. You tell the registrar to issue with one, okay? So there are people who hold interest in land, especially in the coast, and they don't have a certificate of title. You understand? So you apply for LRA 19, issuance of a title certificate. Okay. So there are fees that you are supposed to pay if you want to be issued with a title. The application shall be accompanied by all instruments evidencing ownership in respect of the land or interest in land which are in possession of the proprietor, except any document is already in possession of the registered person to an ongoing transaction. An official search in respect of the land or interest in land issued within the preceding 30 days. Okay. So the most recent official search of the land. Upon compliance, the registrar shall issue a certificate of lease or a certificate of title, whichever is applicable. A certificate of title issued by the registrar in accordance with Section 30 of the Act shall be in Form LRA 20. Set out in the sixth schedule shall include all subsisting entries and encumbrances. A certificate of lease issued by the registrar in accordance with Section 30 of the Act shall be in Form LRA 21, set out in the sixth schedule and shall include all subsisting entries and encumbrances. So, if you hold an interest in land which you don't have title, okay, you apply to the registrar for title or a lease certificate. Now, if you this application, you have to pay fees. Number one. Number two, it will be accompanied by all instruments evidencing ownership in respect of the land. An official search in respect of the land or interest in hand. That is latest in the last 30 days, within the last 30 days. If you comply, you will be issued with this, and this is the form that it will take. Okay, so let's just start with the Form LRA 19, issuance of a title or lease certificate application. Let's see how it looks like. So, Republic of Kenya, the Land Registration Act, the Land Registration General Regulations, date received, presentation book number, official fees paid, application for issue of a certificate of title or lease. You delete where applicable, whether it's title or lease. Title number, date of application. Okay, there's no title number, of course, because you don't have the title. Date of application, proprietor, ID, passport, company, in case of a company, registration number of the proprietor. The number one, the proprietor hereby applies for the issue of the above certificate of title or lease. In support of this application, the proprietor has attached statutory declaration supporting documents dated this day of this 2022. Execution is the signing part, signed by the proprietor in the presence of an advocate, the colored photograph, ID number, PIN number, signature, certificate of verification, and a section 45 of the Land Registration Act. I certify that the above named this appeared before me on this and being known to me, being identified by this, being identified. Okay. Acknowledge the above signatures want to be his, hers, and shall fill and execute this instrument and assume its content, signature, and designation of person certifying. Okay. Then followed by land registrar, name, signature. Then we have a statutory declaration. I, thus, so and so, in support of this application, do hereby sincerely declare as follows. You declare, so just declare as follows. Do hereby sincerely declare as follows that I hold interest in the property, okay, in the property marked, sorry, I don't even know what I would write here. I, so and so, do hereby sincerely declare as follows that I I'm the proprietor. I don't know even. Oh my God, I don't understand this. I make this declaration consciously believing the same to be true and according to the oath and statutory declarations are declared before me at dash on the day of dash of 22 signature for commissioner for oath, notary public, or magistrate. Yeah. So the certificate of title will take this form LRA 20. Republic of Kenya, the Land Registration Act, the Land Registration General Regulations, serial number dash for dash county. Certificate of title, title number this, area this. This is to certify that Zainab Gadamfar is now registered as the absolute proprietor of the land comprised in the above mentioned title, subject to the entries in the register relating to the land and such of the overriding interest set out in 28 of the Land Registration Act as may be for the time being subsist and affect the land, given under my hand and the seal of the it says land registry, I don't know. This day of this 2022 register to be completed only when the applicant has paid Kenya shillings. So yeah, to the government printed to include details as advised. I really don't understand this, but this is how a certificate of title looks like. Serial number for the county and the date stated on the front here of the following entries appeared in the register relating to the land. Edition, Part A, property section, easement, nature of title, absolute, registration section, unit, block number, parcel number, area, cadastral map sheet number, cadastral plan number, user. Remarks. Provide details of change of use or any restriction thereof. Part B, proprietorship section. Name of registered proprietor, nationality, address of service in Kenya, certificate of incorporation number if it's a company, national ID, consideration and remarks, signature of the registrar. Encumbrance section, nature of encumbrance for the particular signature of registrar. Okay. Wow. Okay, so certificate of lease on the other hand looks like this. Republic of Kenya, the Land Registration Act, the Land Registration General Regulations, serial number for this county, then certificate of lease, title number, area, rent, term. So the certificate of lease contains a rent and the term, years from, term, let's say 5 years from this date, maybe 2022, April 2022. This is to certify that so and so is now registered as the proprietor with the leasehold interest above referred to subject to the agreements and other matters contained in the registered lease, to the entries in the register relating to the lease and such of the overriding interest set out in section 28 of the Land Registration Act as may for the time being subsist and affect the land comprised in the lease given under my hand and the seal of the this seal of I will look at I'm going to look at a sample for this certificate of title and certificate of lease. At the date stated on the front hereof, the following entries appeared in the register relating to the land. So we'll have the property section, registration unit, particulars of lease, nature of title, registration section, lessor, block number, person number, lease approximate area, leasee ID, passport number, certificate of incorporation, PIN number, physical address, postal address, cadastral map sheet, cadastral plan for appurtenances, see the registered lease. Okay, remarks, user remarks. Now, proprietorship section, the name of registered proprietor, address and description, consideration, signature, restricted, no. Disposition by the proprietor shall be registered without the written consent of the lessor. Okay. So, per se, that was the proprietorship section. It had a restriction. Yeah. Restriction. Part C, encumbrance section. Yeah. So that is that. We've seen the forms. All right. So that is that. Let's just take a pause and I'll be back. Okay.